back by popular demand. It's the Qeason Season 3, Episode 2. Man, we got a lot to talk about.
Big time stuff going on in the queue with Bags and Greg. How are you guys today?
What's going on,
stuff.
folks? My beer's going square on me here.
We got some Summersby going on here.
Yes.
Sponsored by Summersby, mango and lime.
And days that end at 1:30 in the afternoon. Amen to that. All right, Greg, what's going on? Let's talk a little bit about the Qeason Hockey League and what's the QATAR. What's happening? What's going on? What's going on in A? You're back into it. How's it going for you? How are you enjoying the season? Talk a little bit about the teams and what's happening.
Yeah, it's been great to be back on the ice again after a little hiatus for me in the fall. And I think I alluded to in the first podcast that the league has formulated into two divisions again. We did that some years ago, but it wasn't conducive over the last few years. COVID and all, we didn't have the members. So we were integrated as one division up until the fall when the boys finally decided that we had enough members to go back to two divisions, an A and a B. And that went fairly well. And I think we even have maybe a couple more members started now in the spring season, as the boys call it. So we were able to go with, and plus the return of the QATAR Oryx, the national team, QATAR team. They've entered back into our fold, and they're in B division playing with the other expat teams. I believe there's 5 now, right? Five, yeah. Including the Oryx. So that's new, and we still have our 3A teams that we had the league draft back in late January. That was lots of fun. Always a great bit of fun to get out with the guys and do our thing on the draft night. People getting dressed up and getting a little inebriated with some water, or whatever, and so the league's been going pretty good. It's but we're about 10.
So the 3 teams.
Games.
So 3 teams in the A. So you guys are playing each other a lot. A little bit of animosity from time to again. Not as bad as the. We'll talk about the fights in B later, but you got the Kings. Separated themselves from the herd a little bit. They're on, I think, 18, 19 points. We'll put that stuff up now.
Yeah.
The Kings are I think they've lost 2 games out. Bashers beat them last night. That was a bit of a good game by the Bashers.
Yeah, the Kings have started off and maintained that a hot start. I believe they're 8-2, or is it something like that? Only 2 losses, and they were given their second loss last night by the Bashers. You were at that game.
I was at that game. I was watching it. Yeah.
2-1 was that the score? 2-1 low scoring.
Yeah, I think it was 2. It was low scoring, but maybe 3-2 or something like that.
Who were the goalies in that one? Do we know who the goalies were?
I want to say Van Mierlo and Brandon.
Usually it is a good matchup. I've noticed that since I've been back. That the
good job. Who's doing the Tyson's doing the goalies, right?
Thomas Tyson is goalie coordinator. So it's been good that the goalie matchups are consistent. In every game, no matter if it's A or B. You hope that you have 2 equally matched goalies. It doesn't have to be the 2 top dominant goalies that play, but as long as both goalies are of the same caliber, that makes for a better game, right? So you're looking for parity there of the 2 goalies, and that makes it for a better game so that there's no clear miss by one goalie over another, so the teams are able to play.
So we're getting a little sidetracked, but have you played with Danilar, the Russian goalie that's I'll have to look up your name, buddy. I'll put it up on the screen. I think it's Danilar or Danilev.
I don't think I've seen
he
him play.
made, buddy, that save he made, and we had a game with him. He's the first game he played against. I'm the first person that scored on you. I'm just putting that out there. But he made this save on Zach that it was like, you know that scene in Semi-Pro? When they do the alley-oop dunk for that Will Ferrell movie, and they do the alley-oop dunk. So they do an alley-oop dunk for the first time, and everybody's never seen it before and just freeze. That's how the Heat were when he made this save. We were just like, we all expected in the back of the net, we're ready to celebrate, and then we're like, wait, what? It's in his glove? It was the craziest thing we'd all ever seen collectively. The other team as well. It was just snapped out of his. It in the net, and then all of a sudden his hand was there.
So this is he's Russian.
Yeah, Russian. He's the Oryx goalie coach, and yeah, he's a young kid, 23 years old. I'm sure they're watching this now.
Has he been run by Oleg yet?
No. We don't see. We haven't had it yet. But he's. I think he's playing the next game. He's playing tomorrow. You're playing, right?
Yeah, well,
or on Tuesday.
We're scheduled tomorrow. So.
I think he's slotted for the A game, so he gets.
Oh, is that right? Okay,
he's
so first for us.
I think he played 2 years ago. He was playing at a high level professionally in Europe. So pretty crazy. But yeah, no, he's a good goalie. All right, but getting back to talking about A.
Yeah, I mean, we started off just basically saying that, the Kings have started off hot, as opposed to my team, the Ice Cats, were
ice cold
pretty much the whole season so far. We're a bit snake bitten. We're not able to finish opportunities. Our plus minus is not good. We're about minus 20, was it? Something like that in the goals for and goals against. A lot of it, we're snake bitten. Sometimes the game doesn't necessarily dictate that we didn't play well. We just haven't finished on our opportunities, and we're not doing a great job back checking. That's something that we have to address going forward to get better. We need to be playing both ends of the rink, 200 feet game, instead of trying to wait and hope that somebody else, like our star player Jesse, catches somebody and turns it over, and we go back the other way. We got to play more with a continuity that we haven't had so far. So I think a lot of that
forecheck, back check, paycheck.
Yeah, like the young Russian guy who I can't remember his name early in the fall for the Leafs. That's what he said when they asked him about his start. I can't remember. Long G, starts with G. He probably ends in OV. So he said that's what he said. That the key was the forecheck, back check, paycheck.
So continue on talking about the A.
Yeah,
let's talk about
scoring.
This man, Charles Fullerton, leading the A division with 19 points. Him and Jeremy are tied on 19. This stuff will come up here now, but
yeah, that's good. That's great.
He's leading on goals. He's leading the league, Charles.
Chuck
and he's only played one game, but he's also got the best goals against average for goalies right now with a 960 or something like that. As an
emergency backup goalie, which we refer to as an e-bug.
Go on, Chuck.
So he's had a dominant season in both. Well, I mean, you can only go by one game, but it's a nice tidbit to add there is that Charles has been leading A in points, and he subs in every now and then as a goalie, and he has the highest save percentage. Probably about, if you wanted to get stickler, I'm sure Rajan would probably have something to say about. Well, he has to play a minimum number of games to me, so we'll see. But that's still a pretty good stat.
Better
line.
Goalie than me, put it that way.
What are his what's his stat line for his points? How many was he? Is he?
I think he's got, I want to say 10 and 9, so 10 goals, 9 assists.
He's
flipped, something like that.
He's right on there with playmaking and sniping.
Yeah, complete package, and he's a good ref.
Yeah, so good season for one of our elder statesmen. Charles is younger than I and younger than a few of us in A, but not many. So that's good on you, Chuck. You're one of the elder statesmen, and you're leading the way. And
you'd be a baby in B, just for the record. You're a baby in B.
So keep up the good play, Charles, and good luck going forward.
Let's talk about a couple other guys in A that are having a good season so far. The list is kind of the usual suspects of the top guys. But Dmitry Popov, coming up number 7 for the Dune Bashers, coming up from B. So all those B guys are keeping an eye on him and Alex, seeing how they're doing. But Dimitri's putting it together. He's 7th or something in the scoring. I think he's got 11, 12 points.
Yeah. Dmitry played in the fall season.
With
if
B,
I'm not mistaken, he played with the Surfers.
He won it for the Surfers
in B, and he
4 goals in the final.
And didn't he was the leading scorer in B? So I think the writing was on the wall that the guys were taking notice of Dimitri's play in the fall. As did I when I came back from the States, being stateside. I came back in November and I watched some of the games going down the stretch for both A and B, and he was clearly one of the top guys in B. And
good hands, good feet, right? You
we
can tell
figured
he's played before.
So we figured he would go into in the A draft to be chosen, and he's proven his wealth in A so far. So that's good. Good for Blake and the Doom Bashers. Good for Blake to notice that Dimitri had the goods and drafted him, and it's working out for the Bashers so far. And I mean, if you want to go a segue into that with the standings, I think it is the Kings are leading the way right now. They only have 2 losses, and
I got top 3 guys for the scoring, right?
Yeah, and then the Doom Bashers are in second. They handed them the 2 losses of the year were by the Bashers. We the Ice Cats haven't been able to get a tally on those guys yet. So the Bashers are in the middle there. I think maybe middle of the row in points. Are they 10 points or something like that?
Yeah, they're it's kind of halfway between half.
Yeah, and then obviously if you got one team who has a lot of points and one team has half of that, well, guess what? Somebody has to bring somebody's dwelling in the cellar, and that will be the Ice Cats right now. Yeah. We've yet to get more than 1 win. We've got, I think we're like
1 and 2, aren't you?
It's 8 losses, 1 tie, one win. So what does that tally would look like? 1.
At least you guys all qualify, and you get one.
So
good
that's
night.
the good thing about a rec hockey here.
We got one team staying at home. It looks like we got to wait and see what happens with the Oryx. We'll talk about that later.
If we can get our act together, I mean, we all make the playoffs in A. So if we can get something together later in the year, it'll be fine. Right now we're struggling, but we're having fun, and Jimmy Mack is gonna maybe employ some kind of curfew on us on the weekends, and some maybe dry land training, but I'll digress. I don't know if that's.
I've been bugging our team about cardio. I've even started a Strava group for us. Like with all these young kids in B, cardio. We gotta be going at a pace here. You gotta be able to last the whole 60 minutes.
So I mean, we could talk about that trade that happened in A.
Yep.
As so often is the case, a lot of horse trading goes on behind the scenes. Sometimes it happens on draft night before everyone leaves the venue. But in this case, I think they had you had 1 in B.
I had 2, man.
2 drafts and trade night.
Greatest draft night. I could have made a movie about draft day hockey.
There's always prospective trades that are just hanging out in the wings there that you never really came to fruition on, but. Then it takes time to execute, probably to see how the teams gel, and then finally you have possibly deal. So that was the case for us, the Ice Cats. After about 4 or 5 games, I guess we figured we needed to make a change. So our GM coach Jim McInnes deemed it appropriate to try and put a feeler out there for what he could do to make the team gel a little bit better and get better. So we did. He did make a deal, a trade for. It was a 3-for-3 with Doom Bashers and Blake Mahalik, the captain over there, Blake. So we dealt John Mayer and Brent McNair, and who was the third?
Simon Graham somewhere in there.
So no, it was
Simon Graham came back.
Yes, right. I'm forgetting. Sorry about Warren Franklin, Johnny Mayer, and Brent McNair. So we had Johnny as our center, second line center, and Warren was playing on line with him on the wing, and Brent was one of our 4D. We traded those 3 guys to the Doom Bashers, and in return, we received Simon Graham, Swedish defenseman, Knife Al. I always get his surname wrong. I'll try Al Rumali. Mm-hmm. Knife Al Rumali. He plays with the Oryx traditionally, but because they have a B team, he's an A guy, so he doesn't play in B. He plays in A, so he's one of the guys who was drafted. Blake drafted him.
Big shot, very
mobile guy on the back end. So we traded for Knife, Simon, who's also a defenseman, and Will the Thrill Danino.
Danino.
Yeah, so we got a little bit of scoring back that we lost from Warren and John, and we think we got better on the back end because we get two guys that are pretty good. We give up Brent, whose tenacity will be much appreciated by Blake. So right now, the jury's out on that deal, maybe because it's only been the inception probably 5 games ago. So It's hard to tell. I think Simon's been on a hiatus. He's been doing some work in, I don't know, was it Belize or something?
Yeah.
I don't know where he is now. So we'll get Simon back. He hasn't played yet for us. So when he comes back, I think we'll see. We'll have a better indication if that trade was in the favor of one team or another. Right now, is kind of the jury's out.
I'll tell you what the jury isn't out on is the loss of Thaddeus Wrestler.
So that's another hit for the Ice Cats. I don't want to make excuses for a poor play, but going forward, it's going to be tough without the services of Thaddeus Wrestler, who was unceremoniously told he has to go back to Czech. His job is no longer available here.
He had to go back home.
So he and his family, I think he left this past weekend. Yeah. So his last game for us was last Tuesday night, I think, a week ago.
I think in the annals of hockey, if you talk about guys that are registered beauticians, I think Thaddeus is pretty high up there, right? He's a pretty solid guy. We'll miss you, Thaddeus.
Not too many people have anything bad to say about Thaddeus. Thaddeus is a very nice guy, always smile on his face, great guy to have in the rink.
Thaddeus was one of the first people. In fact, I think he was the first one to comment and like on the Qeason. And Thaddeus was the first to share it, and he was really into it and stuff. Yeah. And he also happened to save my life when I had a heart attack, so he's got that going for him too.
Yeah. So and he's known for his exploits on the dance floor with Jim's wife Krista. I don't think there's anything going on there, but
no, I think that's maybe why his company Jim put a word in.
They like Krista does think that Thaddeus has good moves. And that has transformed onto the dance floor, not only on the ice, it's on the dance floor as well. So Thaddeus' dance moves will be missed. His party, his easygoing demeanor, and
his gray helmet.
His gray silver helmet be missed. He was a good talent, and we'll miss him. And he's optimistic that he may come back in the future. He's hoping, but as these things go in Doha, we shall see what happens. But the Cats and the league as a whole will miss Thaddeus.
Yeah.
Miss you, buddy.
Moving on, before we go on to the B, let's talk a little bit about there's 2 trillionaires left in A. Greg would be a trillionaire except for the penalty minutes. So he's been saved by the nasty.
Yeah.
But the 2 trillionaires.
I'm not proud of, but at least I'm on the board in some respect.
Yeah.
So
Jay DaCosta and Jeff Agnew, veterans.
They had 0?
Zeros. They're like.
I find it hard to believe that Jay doesn't have a penalty.
Nope, Jay doesn't have a penalty, which is good for you, Jay. But on the same side, get a second assist there, buddy. Yeah. Get something going, right?
Yeah, I insist that I've had a few secondary assists that have gone unnoticed or undocumented. And I will not mention names about who have complained about points to the scorekeepers in the past to adjust scores. I will not do that. So I'm sitting on nada.
I've told the league once. I've told you guys 100 times. If you are the second assist, do not feel afraid to come up to me and be like, because I miss every second assist.
Sometimes the second assist is an integral part of the play. Like it could be a long breakout pass. You may not even know that the person was on ice. Made a nice pass.
I'm not watching him.
And the primary guy who gives it to the goal scorer usually is the one that gets noticed. If he doesn't get noticed, well, it's just fixated on the goal scorer. But at the end of the day, if you are productive, you will get documented. So you might lose some here and there. So the fact that I'm on a nada means I'm not being productive from a point standpoint. That's okay. There's other things that I do that I'm trying to make up for in my ineptitude on the offense.
All right, let's move on to...
We'll go on to something else now.
Let's move on to B. We got the Surfers on top, followed by us, the Heat. Then we got the Nomads, then the Oryx, and the Shredders. Oryx are playing their whole team this time. We play at ABHA. It's closed right now because the FIBA basketball has come in, and apparently because the ice coming up has caused rust on the scoreboard, so they've closed it. It's TBD every day from now. If it doesn't happen soon, we might have to look at some other options, but inshallah, we'll we'll be able to be back in there soon. It's been really good playing them. Shout out to Jesse for coaching them up. They look pretty good the last few times we play them, and it's really good for these other guys that are playing for the Oryx that are not the stars, because like Aziz and that, and they're getting a chance to play, and they're getting a chance to move around the puck. So I think for the long-term viability and success of hockey in Qatar, it's really good for them. But and at the bottom is the Shredders. And before we talk about anything about B, we got to talk about these. What is this?
Looks pretty Jan Hammerish to me.
It is pretty bum, 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 bum.
It's Miami Vice's version of hockey uniforms in the form of the Shredders.
So according to the Ministry of, what would that be? Ministry of Immigration, Ministry of Commerce, or whatever. That picture was too close to the Emir that this got held up.
I thought it was the other one.
Was it the other one? I thought it was this one.
On
never mind. But anyways, this uniform plus this in a pair of socks is being worn by perhaps the oldest team in the history of the QIHL. Yarko joined that team, and somehow he made them younger. That's all you need to know about the Shredders.
Makes everyone on the team younger. I think they're outstanding. What is the other team? I'm drawing a blank. The new jerseys, the new unit.
The Nomads?
The Nomads.
It's a good looking jersey.
It's a good looking jersey. Very distinctive, ornate. Very depicts a good. It's a good depiction of a cultural aspect of Doha in the uniform itself. So it's pretty cool. It's kind of got a little bit of infusion of a Magulus type design. So kudos to Brent and the design team.
I like this jersey. I do. I think it's cool. I mean, it's the one I picked out of the two that I would pick. I have to tell you, Ed Arambi, every time I see you dressed up in that uniform with the socks and the baggy socks and stuff, it cracks me up, dude. It's so funny. It's.
I think from what I hear with regard to the Shredders, the most encouraged or enthusiastic donor of these uniforms, if you will, is Sandro Zalanare.
Yeah.
Sandro Zalanare. Sandro, by the way, he is Swiss, but Sandro Zalanare. What do you think?
Italian.
It's Italian.
Yeah.
So he's an Italian-Swiss dude. And from what I hear, and you can read the sarcasm in here if you want, Sandro is the most intrigued by wearing them.
No. There's a couple of guys that put them on like, oh. But
Sandro is very hesitant to skate on the ice in his pink jersey. And I think there's been dissension in the ranks. I think he may have even brought it up to Captain Paul Warner. That
it might have been my suggestion in the draft when we were picking the jerseys.
That he doesn't feel like the alpha male that he is when he's wearing these threads.
The fact that it's on them,
I like them, and if I like them, guaranteed
fashion
they
sense.
are good.
Yeah.
So
it just cracks me up that the oldest team in the league, and then we've got a team that's maybe one of the youngest team, if not the youngest team ever in the Q, the Surfers. They should be wearing these. The Surfers should be wearing the blue and white or whatever, and they should. But it's perfect.
I think there's talks of a new scheme replacing. I don't know how this is going to go. Well, Yarko's not affiliated with them anymore, right? I think Yarko had a
thing with the Surfers.
Had a thing for those Surfer duds. So he's not captaining the Surfers anymore. It's Dean's team now, right?
Yeah.
So I think if I don't know, it may be vetoed anyway. Like the brass is going to do whatever they think is best for the league as far as the uniform aspect. And what is the biggest contention there is that the Surfers it's this grayish jersey that kind of does not contrast enough with a white jersey. So therefore, it becomes a problem when they say they go against maybe the Nomads, which is a white-colored jersey. So you get where I'm coming from here. It needs to be a contrasting type uniform.
Lime green.
So I think I think the executive is looking at maybe possibly replacing the Surfers with something else, and maybe there's a sponsor in the wings that might afford that, and it may be one of our only team sponsors. I don't know. I'm hearing rumblings of it.
We should be
I
getting
can't
getting
confirm or deny.
team sponsors. That should be something in the works.
I think the colors might though.
There's enough heat
be a
for people
royal blue.
watching those games that we could have jersey sponsors. Like every game now, consistent. I don't know if you guys are noticing, but every game there's people turning up to watch games. There's probably a couple hundred people that are watching these games. So
Yeah.
good job for us for presenting this hockey. The Silver Surfers, the fact that it's not this group of men of a certain age, just kills me. But we'll move on. Okay, let's talk about scoring in A. Or in B, sorry, in scoring in B, it'll come up here. It's all about the kids. So it's Tice. I think it's Matthews in front, followed by Tice, followed by Jad, all up near the top, and then Mark Cisse. Andrew's up there. Mark Cisse is just.
Is it Mark? Is that how you pronounce Mark's name? Is it Cisse or Sice?
I think it's. If it's not Cisse, it's sorry, buddy.
Is he? Where's he from?
He's a teacher at ASD. I don't know where he's actually from. But last year he wasn't. I think he wasn't a great. He couldn't really skate or anything. But he's always had that shot, and he's just been killing it. He's in the top 5. Somebody's in the top 6. But
It's the Beggs. Beggs is in the top 6 now, and I'm in the cellar. So how
what is going on? What is going on in the world? What is going on in the universe?
Roles have reversed here.
Yeah. That I'll tell you, that Czech hockey camp, I cannot recommend it enough. Me, Robinson will recommend it. I think who else went to it, but Simon went to it, right?
Simon's been a perennial guy. Simon
goes
endorsed
all the time.
this camp over the years. I think he's gone at least 3 times. Simon.
If you're looking
Chef
for something
Simon.
to do for a week for some time, you can do worse than that hockey camp.
So I think there's a common denominator there with the leading scorers in B is that their age. So that kind of even makes what you're doing even a little bit more impressive. If you've got these young bucks who are half your age,
And I'm on the second line. I'm anchoring.
So that's good.
It's I'll tell you, it's being a captain. It's hard being a captain and giving your all because you have to think about other things, and then to go on the ice and just be like about being in that moment, because you're kind of always watching where everyone's shape is and who's working and what's going on. Is this guy really? Do I need to make a change here and stuff? So it's been a good year and stuff.
Who would you say in B division for you is somewhat of a surprise, in a good way, that has come on that may have been in A before or maybe
there's actually been a couple. Like the nice thing in B is you get guys who like improve rapidly. I mean, Mark without a question, he's like went from being like a couldn't really skate last year and stuff to being like a legit, like you would have to consider him in the top couple of rounds, and he's a sniper. Ahmed with the Silver Surfers, he last year couldn't really skate, and now he's just. The thing comes down to like as you get skating better. Ahmed has been is the Frenchman. Matthias with the switch stick. He's every once in a while he'll switch his hands from being like lefty to righty and switches it over. And we have to kind of tell me he remembers and stuff, but. He is tenacious like a pit bull. He what he does very well, and he manages the ice, and he's getting better every week. It's great that's the best thing about B. You see people improving, people getting their first goals, people kind of finding their rhythm, and it's really cool. It's good to see, and we're pretty excited about stuff. And it's good. It's close. I think the Surfers are 4 points ahead of us. And then even like the 2 bottom teams, the Oryx and the Shredders, both have wins, and everybody's kind of close. And it'll be good. It'll be good throughout the season. Every game is competitive. You can't take any games off. So everybody's happy and enjoying their hockey. That's the biggest thing, right? Enjoying the hockey in the desert.
Yeah, obviously, the desert here is it's a great outlet for all of us to get out there on the ice and the camaraderie and all that stuff. There's nothing like hockey. It's probably in my view, it's the best sport in the world, and it's probably the most camaraderie with regards to sport in the world as well. I mean, team sports in general are a great way to establish friendships and long-lasting friendships. I know guys that have been here for years, and there's guys that have left that I'm still in touch with. It's a great way to get out with the guys and be social, and
Yeah, right. And it's that's the nicest thing about it is being out here and being amongst all the people. And one thing I want to mention to everybody that's driving, I don't know if you guys noticed, but by Education City, there are new speed traps. I got caught both going and coming back by a new camera out by Education City. 250. I paid it early, but 250 each way, which was painful. I do not recommend. Do not recommend.
That might be a good thing to mention for Jim McInnes.
I think Jim just pays him these days, doesn't he?
Jim, I think is known to have a little bit of a lead foot.
Yeah, I've heard the story.
He's like you know how fast the Velociraptors are in the the Jurassic Park trilogies and movies, and so I think Jim's choice of vehicle in Doha is indicative of his favorite movies and the favorite characters in the movies being Velociraptors, because Jim is behind the wheel of a Ford Raptor. So I think he's gonna watch out for those radars, Jim.
Yeah, let's keep it. They kill me every time they hit me. All right, on that, I think it was a pretty good first one of the year. Let's see how the season goes. I think it's going to be maybe our best one yet. What's our line do we say as we go out?
Keep your head up and stick on the ice.
Hello out there, we're on the air. It's hockey night tonight. Tension grows, the whistle blows, and the puck goes down the ice. The goalie jumps and the players romp, and the
Stomping
fans
Tom
all go
Thomas.
insane. Someone roars, Bobby scores at the good old hockey game.
Oh, the good old hockey game. It's the best game you can name. See y'all.